you register your music with the Copyright Office?
Depends on if you think your music is going to get stolen.
Great question. Okay. So that's just to set us up. Of course, this is part 4 of our music copyright world. And I think this is going to kind of take us back to the beginning.
Yes, full circle.
So tell me, do you copyright your songs?
No.
I don't either.
I don't. And I think this is kind of what we're going to jump into, but I don't copyright my songs for the most part because all of my content lives on my machine and gets timestamped that way. So I have projects that are like emailed, or I have projects that are like a lot of my demos get immediately uploaded to SoundCloud privately. But if you want to know when it was uploaded, that's your upload date.
Okay. So this, let's explain why that works. Okay.
Or why
and where that falls short.
Yes.
So I'm basing this off of, again, something from copyright.gov, and then I went to a blog called shoot, I didn't save this. His name is D4Win. The link will be in the comments. I forgot to, or in the description.
Yes.
I forgot to write down the name of the blog. Your music, composition, and sound recording is copyright protected at the moment of creation. So, first of all, once again, when he says composition and sound recording, we are talking about
the master and the right, like the publishing and the master side.
The 2 parts of every song. So, and what he means by protected at the moment of creation, this is what you were kind of talking about. Your work, whether it's the composition or sound recording, becomes automatically copyrighted the moment it is created and fixed in a tangible form that is perceptible, either directly or with the aid of a machine or device. In other words, a song you wrote is protected by copyright once it's in a form that someone can see, hear, touch, like written on paper, recorded to an audio file on a computer. You need to be able to prove that you are, in fact, the author of the original work. This is your upload strategy, especially in the case where you suspect someone of infringing on your intellectual property. Okay. So this is why your kind of method is just to have it up online somewhere.
Yeah, have a timestamp on it somewhere.
It's been transmitted, therefore it's been what they call fixed in a tangible form. And so that gives you protection, because one of the things I think people don't always understand right off the bat is that if you made it, you have the copyright.
Yes.
That's just,
you own it.
That's it.
Yep.
Any legal issues that come to it come down to proving
that you have the copyright, or proving you have it before somebody else had it.
Right. But you, like, when we do this, like, as soon as this gets uploaded, we have a copyright.
Yeah.
This is our property.
Yes.
We don't have to register it with the Copyright Office. We could.
Especially if we were concerned that somebody else had the Wholesome Music podcast and they were also releasing episodes about the same content around the same time, then maybe we should go do it.
Right.
But assuming that it's just us, ain't no one trying to do us.
Okay, so that's it, right? This is one of those things where it okay, let's preface this. You're not a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer.
Yes.
We're not talking legal advice. This is
not legal advice.
Just a couple of musicians talking shop. However, it really comes down to, like, whether it's actually worth your time and money.
Yes.
To protect.
And it isn't super expensive. We're talking about like $30 to $60.
We'll get into that, yeah. But do you need to do it? If I'm an indie artist and I'm putting my shit up on TuneCore and I'm, I want to, like, I play open mics and I play local showcases, and, like, you honestly, like, in my opinion,
your opinion,
you don't need to go copyright.
I would agree. I would generally agree. I like, with the artists that I work with, I don't generally make you go get a copyright for your music. I might make you get a copyright for other products, for other things that I think are more, like maybe you do want to, like, trademark. This isn't copyright, but maybe if you're doing something like merch, you maybe want to trademark that. But that isn't really copyright. That isn't the same.
Let's
that isn't the same conversation. But I would just put a pin in it,
Yeah.
add it to our conversation for another time.
Yeah.
But I would say maybe there are other, if you really do want to protect your assets, maybe not just music, but your other assets like your graphics or your band name. That's another good thing to trademark. But as for copywriting, I don't really take my artists through the process of copywriting unless, and this is the big thing, unless you think there's going to be a legal dispute where, hey, we are going to name this song the same as another song.
Yep.
And we're going to have a bunch of like samples and a bunch of things that need to be cleared and a bunch of things that may be construed with someone else. Then maybe it's a good time to go get a copyright.
So
maybe another place for us to talk about this is AI. Maybe AI is another place where maybe it's worth it for you. If you're making your whole song with AI, maybe it's smart for you to get a copyright. This is a hot take. This is random. This is new. But if you can, I think that might be more useful because then you have some proof of ownership. Really what we're talking about with copyright is proof of ownership, proof that you own it and when you created it, that's non-disputable. So having this physical copyright is going to give you the best legal defense because you have a paper trail with the government, with the copyright office. So
like, I love this. I think you really laid it out really clear. So it's not that it's not that you don't have you do or don't have a copyright. If you make a song, you have the copyright.
Yes, you do.
What you have not done is registered that copyright. And where that comes in is in the case of lawsuits.
Yes.
In the case of a lawsuit, and now I'm quoting again, in the case of a lawsuit where you suspect someone is using a song without permission or even claiming it as their own, plagiarism, you have to register it first before you can engage in any legal disputes over your song or recording. Registration also means the other side bears the burden of proof to prove that the work is not yours.
Yes.
If you, I'll continue. Also, you're eligible for statutory damages, attorney's fees, and costs if you registered before the infringement occurred or within 3 months after publication of work. So this is where, and again, this is where, like, if you're an indie artist, you're just finding your voice. Going back to episode 1, where we talked about how do you find your voice. If that's the level that you're at, you're performing locally. I just like this. I don't do mine. Yeah,
I don't see a need for it.
I don't either. There is a case, I think, if you're working with sync in mind.
Yes.
Now, this article kind of said like you have to have it copyrighted before you get sync. That hasn't been my experience.
No,
but there's a case to be made if you're working specifically because you're trying to play the sync game.
Yeah, and I would say anytime you're going to distribute your music past your own reach. So like I wouldn't put like Spotify or anything like that because that's within your reach. You're very much able to, I put it on DistroKid or I put it on Lander, I put it wherever, Symphonic, and it got distributed to these 20 platforms.
Yeah.
That's not out of your reach. Out of your reach is, hey, I submitted to somebody who's going to submit to a bunch of radio stations, or I submitted and you're kind of handing your music off to a middleman and then it's going to go other places. That's a time when I think it's worth advocating to, or at least thinking about, not like you need to do it.
Yeah.
But maybe
it's also like, this is where I kind of, the sync one really, because it's like, okay, so you got a song and it's going to end up in a Neiman Marcus commercial.
Yeah.
So now this is going to get heard by a bunch of people. Like, it's probably at that point decent to have the copyright.
Absolutely.
Because there's probably a decent chance that someone's going to rip that, put it on their thing. And if you don't have the copyright, it's
hard to prove.
That harder to prove, and it's harder to kind of get your damages for that.
Yes.
I want to back up one about the copyright. You can copyright let's say what you can copyright. And you can copyright lyrics and melodies. You cannot copyright chord progressions.
Nope.
You cannot copyright song titles, names, or short phrases, or the overall idea or concept of a song.
No, because those things don't belong to you. Those things are not copyrightable.
They're not
those things are generally so, like, you can't copyright a 1-4-5 chord progression.
Right. Yeah.
That's just it's just common. It's common. There's a name for that, like common law or common use or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just common. It's just everyone can use it. Yep. It's fair use.
You cannot copyright a chord. I know there are like extreme, super weird cases where it can be done, but for the most part, don't expect. You read some really rad chords. Don't expect to copyright.
We talked about this a little bit when we talked about interpolations a few episodes ago, about things being more than 7 notes in consecutive order. Then you still wouldn't have a copyright. It's just that you have a claim to that melodic idea.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So you wouldn't necessarily be able to copyright, like, I don't think you can copyright like the main theme of like AC/DC's Back in Black, but you would have to then pay like essentially a royalty to them if you're interpolating like more than 7 consecutive notes of that melody.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you would say that they have a copyright, but you would say that they, you know, maybe.
Well, certainly they have a copyright, but I think what you're saying is the riff that is that copyrightable? I actually don't know because I know straight up chords aren't, but that's a riff.
Yeah, and that's more of a melodic lead idea.
And I wonder if that actually counts as something that could be copyrighted. I actually just don't know the answer to that.
I think the answer is yes.
Okay.
I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but I think the answer to that question is yes, but it has to be differentiatable, and it has to be more than 7 notes of something that isn't already pre-existingly copyrighted.
So I didn't verify this because to my mind this sounds correct. As of this writing, and this is from the blog, I will verify this and I will make sure that the links we put up in the show notes are accurate. It costs you can register your work by paper for $85. There is no reason to do that. They don't want you to do that. You can register online. You can register a copyright online for $35.
Yes.
And you can register, which I actually was the thing that I was mistaken about. It's not $35 per item.
Really?
It's $35. The way this is said, it's $35 for the batch.
Oh, okay. So you could batch submit your entire album.
I hope so. If I'm wrong, we're putting up bad information.
But
that's what I read today.
Yeah. I think I've heard this before too, where if you upload more than one thing at a time, it's a better deal than if you upload each. Yes, in the case of like an album, you would want to copyright the entire album as a batch versus copywriting each single if you are going the copywriting route. And again, just to reiterate this, I think copywriting, it's kind of like if you've ever bought like an audio interface or a piece of gear, you own the gear, but then you have to go to their website and register the product with Universal Audio. If you get Universal Audio piece of you get you get the Apollo, you own the Apollo, but you need to register it with UAD so that they know, you own it. It goes, assigns with you, assigns to your name.
And again, you don't need to, but there are just certain use cases where it becomes really useful to do it. So that's a really nice way of describing copyright. So that brings us full circle. So you, again, just to clarify, you can copyright a composition and a sound recording.
Yes, you can.
So this goes back to our part 1.
All the way back to the beginning.
If you'd like to know about how that kind of the history of that, how that started, please go back to our part 1. That is now 1, 2, 3 episodes ago.
Yes.
And then of course we are going to put this in a playlist on YouTube. That's as the recording, we don't have that, but we will.
It'll be there.
And then part 2 was how songwriters get paid via the copyright process, or via copyright. Part 3 was how performers get paid, and now this part 4. This is really the what I want to say about this is shout out to King David.
Yes,
because he was originally the person who reached out
and asked us about this.
If should you copyright a song, and it was like such a complicated question that led us down this thing. So King David, shout out to you.
Shout out to King David.
Keep carrying the torch. We're just talking about you off camera. We love watching you do what you do.
Yes.
And keep sending us your questions, y'all. This is how we do this.
This is how the sausage gets made.
It's how the sausage gets made. I think
That's
we're done
a little bit of a tongue twister.
This is how the sausage gets made. 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 This is how the sausage gets made.
For me.
That's tough.
That is.
But I got the mask on, so you don't even. I could be like.
You could be.
We could be editing out in post, and they wouldn't know.
They wouldn't even know.